Hello. Today it's Christmas 2017 and Rachel Hughes and I have the privilege of talking to former chairman of Cheshire Federation of WIs, and we are looking forward to hearing their little anecdotes and their little stories, and I hope that you too will enjoy what they're going to tell us in these very brief moments that we interview them. Thank you. May I introduce to you now Helen Carey. And Helen, you were county chairman of Cheshire from 1991 until 1995.
It sounds right, yes, I followed Sylvia.
Helen, when did you join first the WI?
1964 or 5 in Cambridge, or Girton Village.
And am I right in thinking that you have belonged to several WIs in...
Only two.
Right.
Only two.
Okay.
That one and Whitley.
Yes. Can you tell me why you joined in the first place?
Absolutely. We were living in a little cottage in Girton Village, and our landlady, who was a real character, and I discovered later that she was a WI advisor, VCO in those days, and vice chairman of the Cambridge Federation. And she knocked on the window and said, "Helen, I think you ought to join the WI." And I thought, oh no, I'm far too young and intelligent, as you do at 23, you know. No, it's the sort of thing my mother does. But then I thought, well, I really admired her. And she was a very lovely person who would mix with anybody. She was interested in the whole aspect of the WI. And so I thought, well, yes, I'll join.
Can you remember what you particularly enjoyed when you first joined WI?
Well, I didn't really do very much in the Cambridge WI because I was only there for a year because my husband was doing a PhD and then we moved to Canada. So I really just went to the meetings. And I have a feeling that I also had TB either before or after, so it actually spent a bit of time. So I didn't do very much in that WI, but it didn't put me off.
Did you encourage your twin sister to join the WI?
Well, the trouble was she was living in Zambia at the time. But interestingly, she was actually teaching the equivalent of the WI people their craft skills and sewing and making clothes. So she was sort of involved. But I think she thought, no, one twin is quite enough, and a mother as well, you know. I'll do my own. Then she joined a village which had an organisation called a village society. It wasn't a lapsed WI. And she thought, well, if I join that village in Derbyshire and I'm not a part of that organisation. But she was an associate at one point.
So when did you actually join your next WI?
Whitley WI. We went to live in Canada and then Holland, and that was 68. Right. Yes, 1968.
And what inspired you to become more involved in that WI?
I think two things really, because my mother was a member and I knew she enjoyed it. And in fact, she was the first editor of Cheshire News, so we'd sort of lived with the WI. Well, we lived with it since we were tiny because she was a member, you know. We had to go to these plays and, you know, flower shows and things, so we'd grown up with it. But I liked the fact that it was interested in the community. And my father at that time was chairman of the Cheshire Wildlife Trust, and so I became, secretary of a local group there, Mid-Cheshire, and it was this countryside and community,
yes,
which I just thought was it was cross-fertilisation.
And which offices did you hold in Whitley?
In Whitley, assistant treasurer, and then I became secretary, and then I was on the committee, on and off, I think, and then president.
And when did you become a trustee?
I absolutely remember that, 1984.
1984.
Yeah. Because my mother had died that year, and they'd asked me if I would be a WI advisor or VCO, and I thought, oh dear, my mother isn't very well, you know, should I do it? And my husband said, no, I think you should, you know, go for it, because I know you'll enjoy it. And I think at that time I was editor of, or becoming editor of Cheshire News, following on from, I seem to have followed in Sylvia's footsteps actually, from being a Cheshire News editor and or was it round the institutes?
I was doing round the institute.
Yes.
And then I gave that up and you took over.
That's right.
Helen, you've had quite a varied life outside WI. Would you say that being a member of WI and being a trustee has enriched your life in different ways?
Oh, definitely. And it also leads you on to do other things, because I think as an organisation, the WI is really valued, and they actually want you to become a member of their. I mean, I've been on different things, which I won't go into, but it's usually because they've liked the WI and what it does, and sometimes they want a woman, but they're very keen to get WI people onto other boards and things like that. So although I was doing other things before, the rest of it, I think, followed from being a WI member, definitely.
Here in Cheshire, we're very proud that you became the national chairman of WI. What did you find most challenging as the national
chairman? I think it's a bit more challenging having a board of trustees up in London than in Cheshire, because in Cheshire we all know each other and we all come from the same sort of communities, whereas you get to London and they all come from different communities. So it's a bit, you can't quite build the same team as you can in Cheshire, because we always were a team, and that was what I liked about it. I mean, Sylvie said that earlier. So that was quite a challenge. As far as talking to large groups of people, like, you know, as I say, 10,000 at Wembley, to me, it doesn't really matter whether it's 10, 100 or 10,000, because to me they're WI members and we've all got something in common, and I absolutely love them. Because when you're standing up, whether it's in a little village hall or it's in the Cheshire Federation Council meeting or it's Wembley or wherever you're having the Albert Hall, and you're singing Jerusalem, you're part of this enormous family. And that's really comforting. So I didn't, like Sylvia said, she didn't actually meet any challenges. I mean, occasionally you meet the odd personality, you have a problem, some people don't like you and you perhaps find them a little difficult. But that's life.
You're constantly being reminded of the time you were chair with Tony Blair. But would you say that there were Cheshire annual meetings or council meetings that stand out in your memory?
Not really. I do remember one, and it was something that we there was a man called Tom Gittings who used to do a lot with us, and we'd done parish maps with him, and we were doing something else, and we had Lady Anglesey to speak at our meeting, who had been one of the national chairmen. That, I think, was very memorable because she was such an amazing woman.
Lovely. And how do you see future decades of the Federation in Cheshire?
Well, I mean, I think it's very encouraging at the moment because we're getting lots of new members, all ages, younger members, different members, you know, and they've all got different skills and personalities to bring to it. And as long as we carry out the aims and objectives of the organisation, it doesn't matter how we do it. And as long as we know we're financially viable and all those things, it doesn't matter. I just think women like getting together with women and making a difference in their local communities. And I think they always will.
Would you all agree with that statement?
Yes.
Yes. And would you have anything to add at this stage? Here in Cheshire, no different from any other federation. Really.
No, we're better.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say that. Of course, we're the best.
Helen Carey, thank you very much indeed for agreeing to be interviewed today. Thank you.
Thank you.